Imagine life as a game of passing the torch. Parents light the flame, nurture it, and one day they hand it over to their children. But what happens if the torch parent decides, no, this child will not receive the flame? Can a parent in India truly disinherit their child? Or is inheritance more of a birthright than a gift? Today, let's explore this question that blends law, family, and emotions into one of the most sensitive issues imaginable. I had people come to me with tears in their eyes, whispering, "Sir, my father says I'll get nothing. Is that even possible?" And I've seen the opposite. Parents furious at a child asking, "Do I have the powers to write my son out of my will?" Inheritance isn't just about property, it's about dignity, fairness, and sometimes even revenge. And when the law meets family emotions, sparks are bound to fly. Now, let's talk the law. In India, inheritance is not just the same for everyone. It depends on whether the property is self-acquired or ancestral. If it is self-acquired, say a parent bought land, built a house, and even earned money on their own, then yes, they have the legal right to decide who gets what. They can give it to one child, a stranger, or even charity. But with ancestral property, property that flowed down 4 generations of a Hindu undivided family, then a parent cannot just cut a child out. Each legal heir has a birthright, and courts have been very strict about this. One of the landmark rulings came in is Guru Prasad Kandappa Magdum versus Hirabai Kandappa Magdum, a 1978 case, where the Supreme Court emphasized that a child's share in ancestral property is by birth, not by the whim of the parent. On the other hand, in Kavita Kanwar versus Premla Mehta of 2020, the Supreme Court upheld the sanctity of a valid will in cases of self-acquired property, reinforcing that parents have a wide discretion in how they distribute what they earned themselves. I once heard of a father in Delhi who, after a bitter quarrel, announced at the dining table, "You will get nothing." The son laughed it off until the father actually made a will, leaving everything to his younger daughter. The family split, legal cases dragged on for years, and relationship never healed. That's the hidden cost. Even when the law allows disinheritance, the emotional inheritance, the scars, the hurt, the broken trust, can last far longer than the property dispute itself. So, what can you do if you're a parent or a child facing this dilemma? Check the type of property. If it is ancestral, no will can erase your share. If it is self-acquired, the parent has more control. Look for a valid will. Disinheritance in self-acquired property is only possible if the parent executes a clear, legally sound will. No will, then the property follows interstate succession laws, and children usually inherit by default. Challenge a suspicious will. If a child is left out but the will looks forged, made under undue influence, or without proper witnesses, you can challenge it in court. Case laws like H. Venkatachala Iyengar versus B. N. Timajabba in the year 1959 shows how courts scrutinize wills closely. Mediation over litigation. Sometimes sitting down with family and a neutral mediator prevent years of courtroom battles. The property can be divided, but relationships, once broken, are far harder to restore. You see, property is like soil. It can grow trees of love, shade, and shelter. Or it can even grow thorns of bitterness and lifelong grudges. The law gives parents certain rights, but wisdom asks, should every legal right be exercised to its extreme? For children too, inheritance should never be the only torch you rely on. Build your own fire, your own light. That way, even if the torch is not passed, your path won't remain dark. So, can a parent disinherit a child in India? The short answer is yes, if it's self-acquired property. No, if it's ancestral. But the long answer is more important. Inheritance is not just about law, it's about legacy. And legacies are written not just in property papers, but in love, respect, and the values we leave behind. If this conversation made you reflect on your own family, take a moment today. Call your parents, sit with your children, talk openly about what matters more than property. Trust, care, and understanding. And if you found value in this video, don't just keep it with you. Share it with someone who might need these insights. Subscribe to the channel so we can keep unraveling these real life legal questions together. And leave a comment. Do you think parents should have absolute freedom to disinherit? Or should children always have a guaranteed rights? Your story might just spark the reflection someone else needs. Take care. Bye.